Hey everybody, I'm John Granado. That's Lance Zerline. You can hear us mornings on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Hit subscribe if you haven't already so you get all of our content here at SportsMap HOU. Hey Lance, what are your thoughts on Daryl Morey constructing Philadelphia as the Rockets' Northeast? I mean, it is just unbelievable what he's doing right now.
I think it's a bold play, Cotton. The decision to say, you know what we need to do in Philadelphia? Get super old is a strong move. There's rumors of Eric Gordon potentially being on the move to go to Philadelphia to join up with aging James and old PJ Tucker. I mean, I got to be honest with you. I'm not sure Joel Embiid thought he was signing up for that with Daryl Morey whenever Daryl came on board. I think it's going to end in disaster for Philadelphia if Daryl keeps going back and getting old Rockets retreads. You're basically older Rockets with Joel Embiid, and I just don't know that is a winning formula. And it's not the Daryl Morey that I used to know, although Daryl does – he goes with the familiar. He did that with Corey Brewer, bringing him back a second time. I think he likes – Daryl at one point was a very creative GM who recognized underappreciated talent from other rosters and underutilized and undervalued players and really, made out on some deals with Goran Dragic and also Kyle Lowry, and then, ended up moving Kyle Lowry because he couldn't really get along with James in the role that he was in. And then Dragic, famously, he didn't want to give him an additional year. Now, Daryl, I don't really see him doing that kind of stuff that much. Now it's just about, hey, let's just go to old familiar. And I think that is going to be a problem.
We've seen Daryl do this before, though, with Carmelo Anthony, get older guys.
Yeah.
And he didn't fit in. Ryan Anderson was a veteran in the league. It just seems like a lazy way out. It's just so funny that Daryl values shooting so much, and then he really never got any shooters here. Which was so funny. And now he just goes about getting a Daniel House. Daniel House is going to solve Philadelphia's problems. PJ Tucker gave a 3-year deal to PJ Tucker.
Hard to believe.
It's unbelievable to me.
Hard to believe. I could see you maybe saying a 2-year window, but I don't recognize this version of Daryl Morey, and maybe I should because toward the ends of the Rockets run, that's kind of what we started to see, but just defaulting to older players, and it does make me wonder if maybe the league is caught up from the standpoint of all of the league. We know that the league has moved in a very strong right turn to analytics-driven rosters and roster management. And I just wonder if some of the value that Daryl used to be able to find out there, if it's dried up because a lot of the other GMs now are just a lot sharper and they kind of have some of the same secret sauce that maybe Daryl had in the past when it comes to valuing certain players. Like maybe the great deals aren't out there for Daryl anymore. Maybe people don't love trading with Daryl anymore because he got over on some of the early ones. Maybe it's a lot tougher for him to maneuver the way he once did.
Speaking of deals, I saw a 3-way deal where Eric Gordon ends up in in Brooklyn, and Kevin Durant ends up with the Suns while the Rockets end up giving up a couple of the Nets picks but get DeAndre Ayton. Would you be down with that?
It's a consideration. I don't know about a couple of the picks from the Nets, but I think that it's a consideration because I think on paper it's a great idea on paper. The question I would have, though, is what's Ayton's personality look like? There was a question about his professionalism when he first came into the league, and apparently Chris Paul was a big help in terms of getting him back on track. Where is he in terms of being a leader? Because the most important thing for me and what I harp on, John, all the time now is build that culture from the ground floor up, and that's how you have sustainable success. That's how the Warriors did it. They got guys who loved ball, and they got talented players, and they did not waver from that. You got Jalen Green, Şengün, and now Jabari Smith. You're starting to build something. Make sure that anything that you add to that puzzle either adds a basketball – well, it needs to add a basketball element, but it also needs to add, I think, a leadership element as well. You can't afford to have bad influencers on this young team, and I think that's the one question you have to ask about DeAndre Ayton. As a basketball player, I love it. But I still think culture is very important right now for a young team.
It seemed like he was willing to do whatever when they went to the finals just a couple of years ago, or the year before last. So I don't know.
Kind of disappeared this year, though. In the postseason, that's what really bothered me a little bit. But he's young, talented, and a good player. But he's a max dollar guy. Are you going to give a max contract? Is that's one of your max spots going to go to DeAndre Ayton?
As opposed to Alperin, as opposed to Jabari, as opposed to Jalen.
Well, Jalen's going to be one too. So, I mean, I had someone bring that up, and I think it's a good way to look at it. You only have so many max spots that you're going to have allotted. Is this a guy you want to be a max dollar guy? I think that's a fair question.
Absolutely.